What's that?
Hey everybody, how you doing? Oh, I look like a giant cherry tomato. I think I'm gonna have to fix this. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for being here today. Um, Welcome to another Sunday Frosty's Chit Chat. And by request, I'm going to be doing something on fractional. Now, I am not a currency guy. I don't understand a lot about currency and a little bit here and there. There are some other channels who are way more adept at currency than I am, but I'm going to be go ahead and doing that. So let's do the pleasantries. Let's go ahead and knock that out, get that out of the way, just because I do that kind of stuff. So we got AZ coins in the house. Thank you, bud, for being here. Brown Sugar, hey, sweetie. Good to see you. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for all your love and appreciation that you show to the channel. Really appreciate that. Coin Junkie. One of the funnest guys to watch open Lincoln Sense. He's a hoot. Dan McCumber, what's going on? Good to see you. Desk Logic, EMR, thank you both for being channel members. I greatly appreciate you too. We got Jack Gallman, Marion, Indiana, I believe is where he's from. Maybe I'm wrong. North Carolina. No, Indiana. North. Jack, tell us where you're from. We got Jackalope Herdmaster in the house. We got the one and only me. Me is back from hiatus. Me has been gone. He's been working on his truck for the last couple weeks. So good to see you, me. Welcome back. Steve looking for silvers in the house. Thanks, bud. I appreciate all the support from you. I really do. And Yoxnav is here. Outstanding. Thank you all for being in here. I definitely appreciate it. Oh, I know where he's from. He always says greetings from North Carolina. I'm just jacking with Jack. Just because I can. It's fun. Shift my camera just ever so slightly. See if I can reduce the shadow that's happening there. There we go. Much better. All right. So without further ado, we have the one and the only Eric Beyer in the house. Good morning, Eric. How are you?
Good morning. Very good. And yourself?
Doing well. Thank you. I appreciate you being up here this morning.
And it's weird. You're not red in Streamlabs, but you're red in YouTube.
Yeah. And so I've got to figure out what I'm doing with the lighting there. So I might have to adjust ever so slightly the tonality on that. I might have to turn down my saturation just a little bit. And there we go. Now I I look like a ghost on your side, but
let me see. I'm actually on the YouTube. Yes. Woo.
So I'll not worry about looking like Casper on the other side, but here on the public side, I look actually much better. I don't look like a giant cherry tomato. What's going on, Nanostacks? Excuse me, Inkman's in the house. What's going on? Say again?
You said like a giant cherry tomato. I said, wouldn't that be like a beefsteak tomato?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, Inkman. So for those of you who are or were tracking, grandbaby got sick, and fortunately they were able to rectify the situation and get her taken care of. She was in the hospital for a little while. So if anybody was tracking kind of what was happening with Inkman's grandbaby, she is out of the hospital and doing better. She had her O2 sats drop through the floor, was there in ICU for a little while. So they've got her taken care of. So anybody who was tracking that from last weekend, just know that Inkman's grandbaby is good. She's healthy. She's back home. And all the prayers that went out are extremely greatly appreciated. So just kind of an update from there. Make sure you guys know that it seemed to be a rash of grandbaby issues.
Yeah.
Paula's and then yours and then Inkman's, and it was just like, oh my God. So, but Inkman, thanks for keeping me informed, letting me know what was going on. I'm really, really happy that your grandbaby's doing good. That's awesome to hear. So, but again, thank you for keeping me informed. I appreciate you, bud. All right, let's see. What do we got? Jeff Davis is in the house. Outstanding. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you some photos. Now, the information that I'm going to be giving you, again, I'm going to be very honest with you. I am not a currency dude. I understand a little bit about currency. I kind of know some things about it, but there's a few different things when we talk about the currency, when we talk about fractional notes and things of that nature. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is I posed a question periodically. I'll go into people's chats who allow me to do this, and I'll say, hey, what should we talk about on Sunday? And one of the things that came out was fractional currency. Talk about fractional currency. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. So I stayed up last night looking for some resources on fractional currency, and I wanted to kind of go through some of those things. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just showing you some various photos about different fractional currency. There's tons and tons and tons of it. And when you look at the general time frame, a majority of these things, the varieties, the denominations, and things all emerged during the Civil War. And so once the war began, the public decided that they wanted to hold on to their coins. Now, again, we know that there was silver value and stuff like that. So they knew that there was the precious metal value, much like we do with our constitutional or our junk silver that we have today. People understood the value of the metal within their coinage. And because of that, there were fewer coins available for circulation. Now, remember, back in that time frame, we're talking about tens and hundreds of thousands instead of millions and millions and millions and millions, or the billions that we issue by today's standard. So you think when people were hoarding it, it's a little bit different when you're talking about a hoard from the 1860s versus a hoard from the 1960s. You know, we're talking about hundreds of thousands versus millions and billions of coins. So in 62, Congress authorized the use of things like postage stamps and other coinage, the 3-cent nickel, the 3-cent dime, um, to be able to do things where they could do things that were not the primary issue. And because of the reserve of coinage, they decided to go ahead and issue notes in the same. Now, there are other privately issued items during this time frame that are fractional. I'm only going to talk about US fractional, things that were issued by the government. And they were the ones done by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. It was brand new at the time frame. I think they issued out in, oh man, I can't remember. It's 1960, 1962, somewhere in that area. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing. It was a very new department at the time, but they were the ones who were given the task of doing the fractional currency. And basically, there were 3 primary runs. Okay. So, and there were 5 types. So there were 6 types. The primary currency. Again, we're not talking about all the various fractional. We're talking specifically about the ones that were done by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. There was a 3-cent, a 5-cent, a 10-cent, a 15-cent, a 25-cent, and a 50-cent. But of those denominations, not all of them were minted on every issue. So there were 5 individual issues. Now, in the description in this video, or in this live, I've included a couple people who probably know way, 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 way more than this than I will ever want to know. One of those is the Coin Nerd, or the Coin Geek. The Coin Geek actually has some videos specifically on this. I put the link, or the tag in the link down there. Go check it out. He talks about all 5 issues. There's deep dive videos where he actually goes in and talks about these particular items. And again, I don't have to be your central knowledge for everything. If I know somebody's done something on this, I'm going to reference them. Another group of folks who are really knowledgeable about this is the Coin Show podcast. They're extremely knowledgeable about this. I'm going to reference them as well. And then 2 folks on Live Coin Q&A who are really knowledgeable about currencies, and that's Blue Ridge Silverhand and Shannon Smith. So those 4 people are listed in the description down below. You can go click on their stuff, refer to them, get their information, send them questions if you have additional questions about this. But basically, what this runs out is there's 5 issues. And the 5 various issues were issued on specific dates. So issue number 1, which was the denomination of 5, 10, 25, and 50 cents, were issued August 21st of 1862 to May 27th of 1863. And it was those denominations for that particular time frame. When they did the second one, it was the same series of denominations, and that ran from October 10th of 1863 to February 23rd of 1867. Now, in 1864, when they started their third series, they introduced, along with a 3-cent nickel and the 3-cent dime, they introduced the 3-cent fractional note. And that was done December 5th of 1864 to August 16th of 1869. Now, that run was only 5 years long. Now, the 3-cent coin actually ran longer than that. But again, excuse me, this fractional 3-cent only ran for 5 years, or 5.5 years, thereabouts. So if you're looking specifically for fun, short run item, that 3-cent fractional is probably a pretty cool one. I don't know anything about values or qualities or how rare they are. But just looking at the general items, looking at the general numbers, that would be a really cool one to have. I've got some totals produced in monetary value, and we'll go over those in a minute. The numbers are not small. But remember, the numbers that I give you in the final have to be divided by 33 or whatever in order to get the total number of mintages because they're fractional. The fourth cycle was 10, 15, 25, and 50 cents. After 1967, they no longer, 1969, they no longer ran the 3-5 denomination. So they stopped running after August 1969. And they started running those in the 5, the 10, the 15, the 25, and the 50 cents, starting in July of 1869 to February of 1875. And then the fifth and final one, they would drop the 15 cent. So again, the 15 cent is another one, a very small run, very small time frame in years. It was only ran from July of 69 to February of 75. And then the very last one, again, they ran the 10, the 25, and the 50 cents. Now, the 10, the 25, and the 50 cents were run in every one of the issues. So obviously, they're going to have the biggest run of these. The highest dollar amount in any one of these runs was the fourth issue. The fourth issue had $176 million that were ran in that particular issue. If you're interested in the other issues, then I can pull them up. And again, when you're talking about the various coins, or the various currencies, you'll see some of them here. So I've got a good series of notes. And again, I'm not looking at all of the individual banks. There were a lot of these that weren't done by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. There were some that were printed by the American Banknote Company. There were some that were printed by the American or the National Banknote Company, and those special runs were done from 62 to 63. But again, there were a number of these. That's about really all I have on this. The person who asked, and excuse me, I don't remember exactly who it was that asked me that question. But I told you that I would talk about dollar amounts. So that first run, there was $20,215,635 worth of total produced items in there. Now, again, in order to get the actual denominations of each, you have to actually break it down. When you look at the second run, it was 23,164,483,000. Now, there's some change on the end of some of these, but I'm not going to worry about the change. The third was a little bit higher. It was the second highest run of 86,115,028. And 28,000. The fourth, obviously, was 176 million. And then the fourth was $62,661,900. So the total run of these was $386 million and some change. plus or minus, $750,000. But it's a really cool item. So if you're into the fractional, you're into the kind of the currency piece, this is definitely something that you might be interested in. Again, a really cool 50-cent note. But again, I appreciate the person for asking me about this. I wish I knew more about these. Like, I really wish I knew more about currency. But right now, I am still learning the numismatic, the coin side of things. And I just don't have enough information on the currency. But again, we have a number of people in our community. Uh, again, the coin geek, Blue Ridge Silverhound, Shannon Smith, and then again, the guys from the Coin Show podcast are extremely knowledgeable, and they can provide some good information on that if you're interested in it. So hopefully, I know that was really fast. I kind of just hurry up and blew through it, mainly because that's all I could find in the evening last night. So, but this is the kind of stuff that I want to do for you on Sundays. If there's a topic that we want to discuss, if there's something that's going on that you want to know about, if you want me to do a little bit of research and find some stuff out. Now, granted, last night at around midnight was when I got the question on this. So I didn't have a ton of time to really do some research on this. The reference that I used from the Bureau of Engraving and Printing is in the description down below. So you can click on that. You'll see the same numbers that I did. It's a really good article. Go check that out. But again, if you're looking for answers and you're looking for something, if I can do the research to help provide it to you, then I'll be more than happy to do so. So as you guys come up with ideas and as you guys do that stuff, please let me know that you're interested in it, and I will go ahead and get that done. Hey, Frosty, tell everybody the Ida St. Jude gets up to $47,500. Invisible River Ranch is going to donate the last $2,500 to get them to $50,000. Now, Invisible, that was amazing. When I saw that, that is a hell of an offer. So again, right now we're sitting at about 45.5, somewhere in that area. So we got about $1,500, $2,500 or somewhere that area in order to get to that mark. We can do that today. But again, basically what's going to happen is if you guys can raise $2,500 today, Invisible River Ranch is going to match that to get St. Jude to $50,000, which is the goal, which is amazing. That is, I was asleep. Yeah. But you know what though? Again, it is absolutely phenomenal. And, Invisible's not doing this for self-gratification. He's doing it for the kids, because it is all about the kids. So amazing, amazing, amazing. All right. Well, I'm going to move this. Now
You
I
want a
do
couple
see.
more tidbits on fractional currency?
Yeah, fire away.
The slang name for them were shin plasters. I'm not sure where that came from, but I'm wondering if they used it for wound care. And the initial fractional currency was based on postage stamps.
Yeah, and that's why I said that they came out to kind of align with the like the 3-cent nickel. That was the purpose of the 3-cent nickel.
Yep.
Right, because they had the 1 cent, the 2 cent, the half cent, and the 5 cent, but they didn't have anything for the 3-cent stamps, and so they needed to develop something, and that was all around the postage stamp. So
Well,
yeah, it basically had the same origin.
It looks like the term shin plaster came from a Revolutionary War term that basically they lined their boots with paper, so it would stop the chafing on their shins. And obviously, they must have did the same thing with these.
Well,
well, I'm just saying. I'm just looking and I'm reading it right now as we go.
You always had some money with you that way.
Yeah. It gave them the ability to get basic consumer goods. Well, all right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But you look at the older bills, and they basically are postage stamps on like a piece of paper. It'll have the 1 cent Washington or it's a Jefferson stamp, and it says 5 cents, and it has the stamp in the middle of the bill. There were even some that had perforated edges, like a stamp, in the first printing.
Yeah, I think that was the very first in series 1.
Yeah, series 2
Yeah.
started no perforation.
Yeah, so I think that was just in the first one, and that was to kind of get people. It's again, it's a marketing thing, right?
Yep.
To get people to understand the purpose of it, they wanted to make it look like a stamp in order to kind of have people understand. Copper Coins is in the house. Good morning,
There's
Chuck.
somebody who knows about some currency right here.
That dude, yeah, you want to come up? You want to come up? I understand if you don't, but if you want to come up, send Derek a text and he'll make sure you get the link. You're more than welcome to come up. I would love for you to come up and chit chat with us. But yeah, so, and I'm not even going to pretend to act like I know anything about, currency. It's cool. I have a couple pieces, but they're nothing fancy. They're nothing major. I'm still learning. Yeah, no worries at all. Just relax, enjoy your Sunday. But when somebody asked about it, now I did have somebody ask about military currency. And that is a very cool topic. It's kind of near and dear to my heart. So I'll definitely do that. Who asked me about that? Somebody said military currency. Tiger Stacker's in the house. What's up, Tiger? Hey, folks. Tiger just got his memberships last night. We helped him set up his membership. So if you're a fan of Tiger Stacker, go check out his memberships are live. Hey, what's going on, Big Apple? There's another Fugazi who knows about currency. He is a huge currency collector. Good to see you, bud. Thanks for coming in. Big Apple Stacker could tell you a lot about currency as well. Good to see you, bud. Now, who in the world said military currency? Nickel stacking. Okay. So Nickel, I'll pull up some stuff and we'll go ahead and we will talk about, yep, me, gotcha. I'll do that for next Sunday. I'll pull up some information, get some background, get some history on it, see if I can't get a few examples, and we will go over military currency. So this is the kind of stuff that I want to have happen on Sundays. You have Korean War. That's cool. Yeah, see, I'll tell you honestly, you know where I learned about military currency? Eric, do you have any clue?
The military?
Uh-uh.
I don't know.
MASH.
Oh, okay. All right.
MASH, because they used to talk about the green notes and the red notes and
yeah, well, basically if you were in an occupied territory, there was some sort of military currency.
Yeah. And so that was where I learned about military currency. Our Hawaii notes, Hawaii notes are not considered military currency.
It's like Africa notes are not considered military currency either.
Right. Yeah. The purpose for the Hawaii notes or the Africa notes was that in World War II, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, there was a real concern of Japan invading. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to ensure if Japan invaded that they wouldn't have access to that currency. They knew what series of bills were there. And so they could basically say these money, they're void. And so what they did is they stamped Hawaii on the back of them, documented and denoted all of the serial numbers that were associated with that. And that way, if in case of an invasion, they were able to demonetize those particular items and basically not make them worth anything. And so that was basically the premise. Now, I know I summed that up into oversimplification, but that was the basic premise of the Hawaii notes and the Africa notes. Now, the military currency is totally different. So you'll see military currency in the Philippines, you'll see it in Japan, you'll see it in Korea, you'll see it in Vietnam, you'll see different places where we did occupations or where we had a military presence. And that was because we didn't have the US dollar there. They were kind of like trade units, basically the same thing, where they could trade with the local areas. The governments traded that to where it wasn't the actual dollar going back and forth. Um, Now there's a lot more on that than I know. That's about all I know on that. So I don't really want to go in and talk about all of that stuff. There was a lot of issue with counterfeiting nickel. Uh, but yeah, so yeah, anyway, it was yeah, we'll be talking about military currency next Sunday. I'll definitely do some reviews on that and get that out. So $2,200 to go. Okay. Thanks, Visible. So there was a couple of different ways you could do that. So, and I joke about this with MASH. But there were local areas that took them as well. And then what the locals would do is they would bring them when they got their, now I actually searched this up so I can actually speak to this one. When the government would drop off the actual monies for them, like if they were going to go stateside or they were going to do whatever, they could actually exchange that for actual monetary bill. And so they could trade that at their local, food area, bar, whatever it was, and then they would be able to come back, bring those back in and trade that for actual currency whenever that information or whenever that money was brought in. I don't know all the details about it. Again, I'll have to do some more researching. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Coin Crew in the house. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. So there's a lot about the currency that I just don't know about, but I definitely will be putting out something for next Sunday, and we'll get that. We'll get the research out on that and get that up there. So thank you for that. But yeah, those are the kind of things that I want to do on Sundays, right? If you guys have questions, be able to research it during the week and then come and bring you the answers. Because this is what I like to do. Because you're another one that likes to do that too, Eric, right? You like doing the research and learning about things, and
that's the best part. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah, it's fun, right? And again, I don't run auctions, I don't do the games, I don't do anything like that. I'm about getting information and then passing it on. If I can research something, I enjoy doing research. I enjoy learning about stuff, and if I learn something, then I share it on. The other thing I really like doing, which a lot of people feel like is channel genocide, is referencing you to those that know more about it. Like, if I'm going to be talking about Lincoln cents, I'm going to be referring you to Chuck. I'm not going to try and learn all I can about it because he's got an entire lifetime of study that's been dedicated to the Lincoln cents.
Yeah, I don't think it's suicide. I think that it's actually good for you because people will know where to go to get information.
Well, and that's the thing. I want to be a source of information. I want to be able to refer people to people. But it is impossible, 100% impossible for me in a lifetime to become the expert at anything that other people have already become the expert at without solely dedicating myself to that pursuit. I can't be a Chuck if I'm studying currency. Can't do it. I can learn a lot about it, yes, but the details and the nuances and the dyes and the varieties and the years and the mixtures and you can't. And I don't want to, right? I want to have a good general working knowledge, but you know what I'm more interested in? I'm more interested in networking. I'm more interested in having the people talk about that stuff and be able to ask the questions and say, Okay, just like I do with you, Eric, right? Okay, hold on, whoa. You said this. What does that mean? What does that mean? Right? So,
Yes.
and
What does what mean?
that is the piece that gets me, right? Because if I can have, so we'll talk about Chuck's counterfeit 1909 to 1958 Lincoln Cent collection. Okay. I can tell you, looking at some of them, oh yeah, that's fake.
Yeah.
It's
There's
clear.
a couple good ones in there.
But there are some, and even Chuck has said this, right? You go back and watch that. He's like, there were a couple of them that if it wasn't for one thing, I wouldn't have caught it. I wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
It took me, one or two times to really look at it and go, oh, wait, that's not right.
Yeah, a good portion of them have a weird grin on their face.
Well, yeah, that SEG.
Yeah.
And so, but some of those stand out. I just did the thing where I talked about the 3 Indian head cents and tried and had people showed people, an overlay and how you can bring those things back and forth and see the differences and the nuances,
Yeah.
see the shift in the letters and see that kind of stuff. I learned a lot of that stuff by listening to Chuck and listening to Paula and watching Amanda actually do overlays. So am I going to be the expert in doing that? No, but I want to be smart enough about it to be able to speak about it and then reference you to the person who's the expert. Because there's this thing in the professional world, we have it in medicine, that's called deference to expertise. I do not have the skill or desire to be the expert in all things. And if you try to, you will frustrate people. People will leave because you will know just enough to not be able to answer the questions that they have.
Correct.
And so I would rather know Chuck. I would rather know you. I would rather know Paula. I would rather know the Coin Show podcast. I would rather know Jack Young. I would rather know, hold on. Just wrote a book on the heading nickel coming out soon.
Joe Cronin.
Joe Cronin. Thank you. I'm like, I'm really excited about that book. I can't believe I forgot his name. I would rather know and have a relationship and get to interview and talk to those people and be able to ask the questions that I don't know or people in chat don't know. Exactly. Yeah. Your brain will explode. My brain is close to it. And I'm not even close to having knowledge to be called an expert. The only reason I'm an expert is because my dad released me one day. Sorry, that was inappropriate.
No, not really.
But that's about the only thing I'm an expert in. But again, it's one of those things where I appreciate the people who have the knowledge. And if I can be a gateway for people to go to whom it is that knows that, I'm good with that. And if that's all my channel is, then great. I want to tell the stories. I want to link people. I want to connect people. And so if you have
ultimately stories make you remember details. It's easy to relate to something when you have a story involved in it.
Yeah. So I've got something and I was waiting for, I need to talk to Chuck about this. I have an unopened, good morning, Paula. I have an unopened package downstairs. And it is Mr. Mustache.
Yeah, nice mustache.
Mustache.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning.
So close.
So close.
So close.
It's still open. We're not closing until Monday. So.
Yeah. Less than 5,000 to go. That's amazing.
I know.
That's amazing. And then Invisible River Ranches offers crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
See.
Lots of good people come together to do something amazing. That was awesome.
So exciting.
You sound beat up.
Yeah, you still
I
sound
am.
sick.
I am.
Have you been crying all night?
No. Oh my gosh, what a mess. No.
That was very gracious. The one that got me was the custom heart with the stand.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that was absolutely awesome. That was cool. That was cool.
Nuts, huh?
Did you
Yeah.
get your sample slabs?
No, but Ida got them.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you can
those are
just
cool.
visit her and hold
So
them
I
then.
can visit it.
You'll be there pretty close. Hey, what's up, Dark Sky? Good to see you, bud. Thanks for coming in.
I didn't even know she got it until because I like as soon as I threw my high bid in right out the gate. I just like, okay, 200, and it lasted like a second as high bid, and
Well,
like,
yeah,
all
but
right,
that's no surprise. You knew that was happening.
I did,
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, well, I'll be back,
yeah, we
and
talked about
so
that
I left.
beforehand. You knew that was
Yeah,
going to go way over that.
I did.
Yeah.
I left and went and got an ice cream cone and came back.
That always makes you feel better.
I'm gonna drown my tears in ice cream.
I know. I'm like, okay, I'm all right.
That way
I have a silver heart.
it's just ice cream melting. That's all it is.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
cool.
bawled like a baby. It didn't help that I wasn't feeling good, but yeah, I just I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak.
Yeah, it was very gracious.
And
Who said-
Amanda's like, if I knew that would shut you up, I'd have made you cry a lot sooner.
Oh, now I was driving and I dropped my phone. I was laughing when she said that. I hit my hand down because I started laughing and I knocked my phone on the ground. I obviously couldn't pick it up. But I was like, oh my God, Amanda, that's hilarious. And I was like,
Oh, she's funny.
I was like, hey Siri, text this. And no, don't go off, Siri. I was just saying something.
I do got to say, somebody gifted her something, and she's usually very straight faced, and she cracked a smile, and I was almost commented, "Whoa!"
That knife.
Yeah, that's what it was the knife.
And then there was one other thing too. I can't remember what it was, but yeah,
I would have never guessed in a million years that she's a knife collector.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
she collects all sorts of stuff.
she does collect all kinds of things.
She's a genuine collector. Like
Mhm.
she just collects. Yeah.
She's a hoarder.
I was going to say, when she's 60 years old, she'll have a house full of stuff, and everybody will be going, "What the heck is this?"
It's true.
She's got a Pink Panther collection that is amazing. If you like Pink Panther, she's got some figurines and the old little plastic rubbery figurines, and she's got
the ones that the wire always came out of the hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the like the knee, you'd bend the knee and it'd pop out. Boom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pop right out.
She's got all of those. She's got lamps. She's got images. I sent her the 60th anniversary coin for that. She's got all sorts of stuff for Pink Panther. She loves Pink Panther, but she's got some highly collectible. She's got some Tiffany things. She's got a lot of really neat, and her air scent collection. Yeah, she's got some cool stuff.
Well, it sounds like she crossed platforms too.
Oh, she does everything. She does everything.
She must be the person that walks through these resale shops and goes, "Ooh, $5."
She loves garage sales and
Yeah.
estate sales and things like that. I don't think she's been in a long time to one, but
Nickel,
she's amazing. Just amazing.
Nickel has a life-size Pink Panther.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You're a hobby I'm having trouble beginning.
You need to tell Ida that. She'll want a photo. Actually, take a photo of it, Nickel, and send it to Ida. And just say something like, thinking of you.
Oh my god. I don't know whatever happened to her. She used to have the Pink Panther theme song as her ringtone on her phone, but she doesn't anymore. She changed it. Coach's Magic, you're in the right place. This is a good start for you, but Invisible River Ranch is right. I would highly suggest getting a red book. It's usually the first book I tell people to get. Don't look at the prices, don't look at the values and stuff like that, because people look at the values in the coin book and they go right to the very right, to the highest, like, and you don't want to do that. But it has information about every coin that has ever been minted, and it's a good start right there. And then you just have to figure out like what you like.
That and start cheap.
And learn everything you can about that coin that you, or denomination or series or whatever. Learn everything you can about that.
So here's the thing about Coach. Okay. Coach entered a hobby unlike most people. So Coach entered the hobby with a 1796 half cent.
Right.
That's not normal. And that was a lot of fun. So yeah, but just, stick around. We'll make sure we connect you to the right people. And, Paul is a brilliant person to have.
Quit now, Coach's Magic. You're good. Just quit.
Yeah, I mean,
just stare at that coin for the rest of your life.
That was one of the funnest episodes.
That was a lot of fun. That was
a lot of
fun when Chuck got up and
and we had me, you, Chuck, and Eric.
I haven't pulled out my little half sister's book in a long time, and I that was enjoyable to look that up.
Yeah, so that was like, well, yeah, there's just it's really nice. It just doesn't look right. Wait, hold on, that 5 actually is right. No, that's not quite. Well, maybe. Hold on, it's there. If we only had. Oh yeah, there's lettering on the edge, and it was like,
it's just not a coin you look at every day. It's
right.
just not a coin that you look at every day.
It was just like
not the one that you just go, oh yeah, I recognize that.
Exactly, like that that counterfeit that we just came across, that 22 no D.
Yeah, I didn't have to look past the date. It was just like so obvious.
I know.
The poor guy.
What was funny about that is that the full coin shot, the date looked a little bit different than the close-up shot of the date. The close-up shot of the date, you're like, oh yeah, that is all wrong.
I felt so sorry for the guy because that coin was posted in probably 15 different groups.
I know.
And he was just waiting for somebody to tell him that it was genuine, and nobody told him it was genuine. You had the sarcasm of go get it graded and let us know and blah, blah, blah. But he would get no.
I saw it and I just told him, you probably should have that authenticated. It does not look genuine. That's what I said.
You were being very nice to him. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. Yesterday I was like, because Invisible River Ranch and all those people bought me gifts.
Yeah. And
but yeah, really nice.
I just saw it trickling through these groups, and it's like, man, and people were saying, yeah, it's not genuine. It's not.
But he was very gracious. He was also very gracious about it. He was not argumentative. Like
he wasn't.
So
that's rare.
That makes a big difference in my attitude.
Yeah. And there's nothing worse than spending a bunch of money on something to find out that it's fake.
Yes, I know. Jack Young. Well, I think I posted it in Jack Young's group. I think, or
it was in some other group.
I posted it in our group, in the Q&A group, and then Jack commented. Yeah, then Jack took it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. Or child.
Or child, I know. Great. Or child. That was funny.
I was like, or child.
Well, and I had no clue that was Invisible River Ranch, and he's like, "Come on, guys, it's me."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That was great. Or child. God, that was hilarious. I was laughing so hard.
Oh, if you want to teach me how to get in. Oh, it's super easy, Chuck.
Eric, send him the link.
Super easy.
All right, let's see.
Eric's going to send you the link, Chuck.
Clicky the linky.
Oh, please don't say that again. After about 5 times, I was like,
Chuck saw that in the Q&A group too, and he's like, Just so you guys know, that is not an altered cent. That coin is fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I've just a second ago I was just talking about a package, and I have a package from Chuck, and I've been waiting to open it. Because I've got well, I shouldn't say his entire series,
Morning,
but
coin
a
junkie.
collection of his artwork.
All right, I sent it to you via.
I have all of his coin cards.
I think he's
I
got a
don't
new
know.
set of
A
coin
lot
cards
of good
coming
that
out.
did me. What? He has new ones?
I think he's going to. Yeah, I think there's a new set.
He needs to, because my other ones are
Yeah, he
needing company.
I've got one of the betas that he did for the new ones. Sent me one of those.
Alpha Beta.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Remember that grocery store, Alpha Beta? Maybe you guys
Do you
don't.
remember Alpha Beta?
Nobody ever talks about that, but yeah.
Yep.
Alpha Beta.
It was like well, they still have Piggly Wiggly in the South, but
Here it's like it was like a Albertsons or whatever.
yep, I remember Albertsons too. Albertsons, Fred Meyer.
We still have Albertsons here and Fred Meyer's.
Is it Fred Meyer's or is it just Meyer?
No,
Fred
it's
Meyer's.
Kroger. It's Kroger. It's owned by Kroger, but so it's called different things in different places. But here it's called Fred Meyer's.
Well, the weird thing is Fred Meyer was a barber.
Invisible River Ranch was a barber.
He was a barber in Michigan.
How funny!
And he opened a convenience store around his barber shop. And it is now a huge grocery store in the Midwest called Meyer.
Yeah, not the same one, but Fred Meyer's. They were
Well, this
more
would be
of
Meyer, not Myers.
Yeah, they were more of a retail shop that got into groceries.
Well, and that's what happened is so you can go to Meyer and there's still a barber shop in all the Meyers because he built this retail shop around his barber shop.
Yeah. Yeah, Washington. In Washington, they have Fred Meyer's too.
Yeah, we used to have him in. They used to have him in Utah and Colorado and Oregon, and so we don't have him here. Not in Texas.
I know, and I want to go to a Piggly Wiggly. I should ask Ida if she's got one. I've never been to a Piggly Wiggly.
And you know what their fame is all about? An interesting, stupid fact. Piggly Wiggly designed the modern grocery store format, where you come in to see a certain part,
the racetrack,
like groceries or whatever. That was done by Piggly Wiggly to make your visit shorter. So
really?
Faster, yeah, and in a certain order.
Interesting.
So the modern grocery store was actually started by Piggly Wiggly.
Yep, they're the ones who developed what they call the racetrack.
Racetrack.
Yep, that's where you could go around
all
the produce,
essentials around the
perimeter of the store. The primary things that you needed.
He used to always tell me, "You got all this useless information in your head."
Oh, I feel you.
It's useful now. I just said it to somebody, and they might needed to know that.
I feel you. Like with me, like with coins and stuff, it's the useless information that I remember off the top of my head, and the other stuff that I have to look up. The important stuff, I have to look it up.
That's like me and jokes.
It's crazy. It's like the stuff that I might answer somebody once a year. Like it just comes right off the top of my head. But other stuff, it's like, I don't know. Hang on, let me go look it up.
Well, the thing about you is you have all those resources like readily available to you. You know where they all are, so you can pull this stuff up pretty quickly.
I have a lot of books too. I like my books, and I have a lot of bookmarks in my books.
I like books, but I don't buy books that much anymore because I've lost so many books.
I know you have.
I want to write a book named Mark.
Named Mark?
Yeah, bookmark.
I guess I need to write something. I need to write something because I don't feel right being part of that literary guild without actually having written something.
But you do write stuff.
He's trying to teach me the writing pyramid. He's trying to teach me the writing pyramid. And I do write a lot. You're right. I do write a lot of stuff.
And a lot of people write, and what the final book that comes out is not it's an OBS virtual cam. I'm not sure.
What?
Chuck's trying to get in, and it wants to run his camera through. through
That
OBS.
you can use your OBS as your virtual cam in StreamYards, Chuck. He's probably not listening.
He's probably listening.
But if you don't want to, then you just go down to settings in StreamYard and change your camera.
Oh,
Go to
that sounds
settings and then go to camera and then click on camera, and you should have a drop down menu, and your virtual camera and your other camera will be in there. Just come up here and we'll show you how to change it.
I won't. I don't have a clue.
Clicky
I am
the
so
linky.
inept at doing stuff through
I know that feeling.
YouTube and all that stuff. If it wasn't for Chuck doing the graphics, I couldn't do that.
Hey, long live. Hey, did you get my email yesterday? Go check out that email. I sent you a coin that I want you to look at, and the people who have it. Secret agent man.
Oh, pardon me.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for him to show up.
Click the link. Clicky the linky.
Yeah, he's got that far. It just says that his desk camera is set up through OBS, and it's an OBS virtual cam. Oh, and it won't recognize it.
There you go. Patow.
Poo-foo.
Good
There you
morning.
go. See?
Yeah, I just decided not to use a camera. My camera isn't working for this.
Yeah.
That picture. You're too young.
What? Oh,
It looks exactly the same.
It's a couple days old.
I can tell you exactly when it was taken only because I have a good memory.
No kidding.
So
Yeah.
you saying you have a good memory is a slight exaggeration of the
It's
facts.
an understatement.
Under exaggeration. Yeah. It's a slight misnomer.
We had I was wearing a Gap sweatshirt there. It's a hoodie sweatshirt. And 2 days after that shot was taken, I was wearing that sweatshirt, and we got rear-ended, and I had to go to the hospital, and they had to cut that thing off of me to get an X-ray of my neck.
Beautiful. Nice memory.
Yeah. So every time I see that picture, I see that hoodie I wore for, like a total of 3 weeks before it was cut off of me.
Wow.
Chuck, how are you doing?
I'm improving every day.
Okay, good.
Good to hear.
That's good to hear.
Things seem to be near normal, and in fact, I'm doing well enough that I've put together I don't really quite have it scheduled or sent out yet, but I'm going to be doing a show today.
Okay, how about you not overwhelm yourself?
No,
Well,
it's not a matter of that. No.
Okay. Okay.
I got in a collection that I needed to start processing, and instead of processing it into a drawer, I said, why don't I just process it right into a show?
There you go.
So I did.
That works.
Good.
But it's going to be it's going to be one of my CNLA auctions. It'll be tonight at 7 p.m.
I'll be there.
Cool.
Beautiful. And it's got stuff you normally don't sell, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff I don't usually sell. How about like a silver Mexican peso?
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I like
what else do I have? Eisenhower dollars.
yuck.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, stop that. Don't make that noise in front of me.
Sorry.
He's trying to get me going.
A lot of people like Eisenhowers.
I'm sure they do.
them.
Eric, does that sound set you off?
There's a lot of history behind
Yes,
it.
it does.
Can. It can. I have my moments.
No, it does.
Definitely.
They're just
When I'm
big
strong in the backbone, I can repel the urge. But if there's anything like
Almost
my
just got to
cat-
clean up something
cat
a dog
flung a
left behind.
hairball, and I almost died. And for the next 2 days, every time he would pretend to gag, I'd start gagging.
Hey,
Oh, no,
John,
eyes
please,
water
I'm
and
going to go grab some coffee.
Yeah, his eyes water and everything.
Oh,
you
man.
were talking about deference to expertise, and what I prefer to kind of consider expertise is just being a very ardent student. I have never considered myself an expert, and still don't.
Me neither.
I think the experts are the ones who carry all the guides in their head
and I don't. I can only deal with what I have studied in the past and remember, or what I have recently looked at and have some clue as to what it looks like or how I can help with it. But you start asking me right now about, I'll just pick it out of my head. 61D RPM number 45. I have no clue. I can't tell you anything. I've got to check my website or a guide or something prior to being able to really talk about something like that. You asked me about my counterfeits. Okay, well, I've been through those rather recently, and I know kind of what I'm doing with them. So it kind of makes me, I would guess, an expert in that micro subject. But my expertise changes daily because I'm looking at something different daily.
It's because you're still learning. You learn things new every day, and that's the difference between when you quit learning. Like my dad used to say, the day you quit learning is the day you quit breathing. So you learn new things, and it just adds to the amount of information that you already have.
Invisible
The only
River
thing I'm
Ants.
an expert at is being me.
Thanks for the $5 super chat, bud.
But having said that, and being finished with that little bit of my subject, if I have information that someone can use, I'm just like Frosty. I'm like, I'll delve it out wherever I can, however I can. It's a matter of trying to keep the interest, keep the faith in the overall interest group. You try to hoard up all of your information for yourself. What good are you doing? All you're doing is blowing your own head up. You're not helping anyone else.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And you can't be the expert in everything. You can't know everything. And the people who try to cover every aspect of every portion of this hobby, they do one of two things. They either burn themselves out or
Uh-oh.
You pushed a button.
yeah, device not connected. He'll come back in just a second. They either get burnt out in this hobby, or people stop looking and watching them because it's like they go off left field, right? And they start talking about stuff. They start doing stuff. They don't quite know either exactly what they're talking about, or they misrepresent themselves. We've seen channels within our community do it.
Oh yeah. And if you're ever watching someone and you never hear them admit that they were wrong,
that's a flag.
You probably should stop watching them.
Yeah, it's a flag.
I know some coin people like that.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of coin people like that.
Will never admit there's anything they didn't already know.
Mike Diamond's one of them. Did I say that out loud? I don't know.
You did.
I might have said that out loud. I'm sorry. I got very disillusioned with him.
I pulled down a lot of videos because I've had the information wrong. Because I don't.
You what?
I pulled down a lot of videos because I've had information wrong.
Yeah, I know you have.
I know.
But the problem is that something that I'm seeing a lot of now, and Chuck and Eric I don't know if they'll agree with me or not. They may not. That's okay. One thing I'm seeing now is not a lot, but some of the experts in the field are trying to reinvent the wheel. And I learned, I mean, it's okay with things that they believed used to be one way, now understanding that they're they're not, but they're making up new terms for things. And
I agree with that.
Yeah, and it bothers me because why fix something that's not broken? If it still means exactly the same thing today as it did when the term was first coined, why change it?
I agree with that.
I hear a lot of people using improper terms, but it's become a norm.
I got.
Well, if you ever hear me, don't be. Well, I know I'm telling you, don't be shy to tell me I'm wrong like that, please. But anyway, please tell me I'm wrong.
My big thing is I do not use the best nomenclature all the time. I try to, but sometimes I get lazy and
can't spell worth a damn either.
Huh? That's right. Like my punctuation. I how many texts have I sent you that said insert commas where needed?
Yeah, right.
Hey, Chuck, don't hold back, brother. Tell him how it is.
Right, yeah. But sometimes half the fun in communicating with Eric is trying to figure out what he's saying.
Eric.
That's the text message in me. When I text, I just go. My thumbs start going as fast as I can across the keyboard, and
Oh boy, here he goes again.
I'm not going to hit that shift button to find my commas and periods and all that other stuff.
No, but probably one of the, I mean, if we're going to get into nitnoids and hit picking on stuff, one of the, I think one of the terms that really grabs me the most is when people use mechanical doubling. It's just machine doubling. It's a lot easier to say.
Machine doubling.
It was coined many, many, many years before anyone started using mechanical doubling. And to me, mechanical doubling just sounds novice.
Yeah. Well, Alan Herbert actually wrote an article. I don't know if you read it, Chuck. I think it's on either NGC's or PCGS's site about how he coined the term strike doubling and regretted it like big time and down the long, in the future when people started using it. It confused. He realized it was really confusing people because it had nothing to do with the strike.
Right.
And yeah, so
there's people that shift doubling
still
term
use it.
also.
Huh?
There's a term shift doubling.
Yeah, shift doubling.
That people use for a while.
But
Push,
synonymous to
shift,
that is die tatter.
Yeah.
Or die bounce. I mean,
Yeah.
basically all it is when the die is a little bit loose and it bounces on the coin when it struck, and it moves a little bit and restrikes the design and only hits the high points of the coin. That's really all it is. And
well, there's all kinds of new
things. So many different terms to this kind of stuff.
Right.
It's kind of like if
there's
you took a parking lot coin.
doubling. There's rim restricted design duplication. That's also machine doubling.
A braided die doubling.
Yeah. I mean, I just really
polishing or by age or
I like to put damage behind machine doubling. I like to be specific. Machine doubling damage. That's what it used to be. It used to always be damage. Used to always follow that, and I think it still should because it's straight and to the point, and people understand that it is because sometimes they see the word doubling and they're like, "Oh, it's doubling."
That's right. You don't know how many 60. I mean, actually, it has slowed down. I used to get so many 69S and 70S photos. I found one.
You want mine?
Oh, heartbreaking.
Oh, you're still getting them, huh?
I'll put a forward or I'll put a subject forward on my email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it used to be so bad. But I actually don't get a lot of what is this emails. Most of them that I do get are actually something now. Because
do you want some? People. Do you want some?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I actually don't mind them.
Oh, good. You can have all mine.
No. But like Facebook, I quit answering questions I don't answer questions on Facebook.
I don't even go into groups on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, it just turns into an argument.
I'm way too active in the groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
I still have.
You're good at it.
Well,
you just call a spade a spade.
And sometimes I play a little, and it's kind of not very nice. But sometimes I find someone that I just want to play with a little bit because they're jerks and they deserve to be
called a jerk.
Called a jerk.
I was going to say that's not playing. If that's your terms of playing, that's.
Well, I have to say there might be somebody on the panel that I learned that handy technique from, the ability to make someone make themselves look stupid.
Here's a lady.
I don't know who you're talking about, Paula.
I don't know. My God.
So I love the reference, Chuck. That was awesome, by the way.
One thing that I can think of is with all this, and also you have to kind of watch when you use the term machine doubling damage, because that is abbreviated MDD, which is also master
MDD,
die
which
doubling.
exactly, but that's why I don't abbreviate. I don't use a lot of abbreviations. If you watch me on Facebook, I try to avoid abbreviations, especially when I'm talking to these people who I know are brand new to the hobby.
You know why else she
right.
avoids
What's the
those,
point?
Chuck?
What's that?
Military.
Oh,
Let's cut out all the
Well,
abbreviations that we can, the acronyms that we can.
you didn't meet your POC for your NCOIC at the CBSC?
Exactly.
I know that story. I've been there a couple of times.
You know, one of the best ones that was ever done with that was Robin Williams at Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh yeah, or else you'd be doing KP for the VIP.
Oh man, he did such a good job with that, and just pegged it. Yeah, just pegged it. That was awesome.
That's another term, Josh, that's confusing to people. PMD, post-mint damage, right? I'd like to say post-minting damage, because when you say post-mint damage, people, some people, when they're new to the hobby, think that if it happened at the mint, it's an error.
Oh, not even people that are new to the hobby.
No.
Yeah,
There have been people who have been in this a long time that still
I'm
think
giving them the
that
benefit.
if it happened at the mint, it's mint damage, and that's not.
If
way
it happened
out
at
to
the
the
mint, they think that it's mint damage.
Yeah.
Does that include
Minting.
getting rolled over by a forklift?
Yeah.
Yeah,
me, it
and
happened at the
I
mint.
will use.
Yeah.
I actually will use that. So, are you telling me that if a coin falls off of the conveyor belt onto the floor and gets rolled over by a forklift, that is an error?
Well, that's going to be hard surface grit rollover, is what that's called.
Is that what the term is?
Yeah, it's hard surface grit rollover. There is a soft surface grit rollover too.
Okay, it's like a bifurcated plane.
Yeah, exactly. And all of these things, you know, how many different names for damage do you want to have? I mean, because we can make as many as there are coins.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know, I
well-
say that too. People say, "Well, how did this damage happen?" I'm like, I don't know. What does the letter B taste like? Like,
Right.
Honey.
When you can see the color 9, what does it look like?
exactly. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Well, that would depend on what language you're in. If it's German, it's nothing.
Nix?
He's like, stop.
Huh? Oh, I get it.
What, you know, I just saw that something about swear words and this and this and this, but if it's in German, it doesn't mean anything. What was that on TV yesterday somewhere?
Huh.
I wouldn't have a clue,
Frosty
but I
brought
think
that
we have
up.
to start
I
using
don't know.
swear words in order to get what we're talking about here.
No, somebody was typing a message out and it had swear words in it. And they said on the TV, they said, well, the good thing is in German, this won't be swear words. So I won't lose my monetization. It was on YouTube somewhere.
I don't know.
That's funny. Listen, you people in chat, I know you see us like making fun of people who have asked questions and stuff. I don't want you guys to be afraid to ask questions, because
That's right.
it's not the question, it's how that question is accepted or received, and how, and your
We can put it into
ability to accept the answer.
an easy thing. Somebody asks, what, here's the question. They post 2 pictures of a coin and their question is, what's going on with this coin?
Mm-hmm.
And
What
you
is,
say, well, it's a dryer coin.
or they say thoughts.
Yeah. Or your thought. Then you say, well, it's a dryer coin.
Deep
And they
thought,
instantly
yeah.
come back saying, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. I took it to my coin dealer and he offered me $50,000 for it. And
And then
yeah.
you go back with, well,
I'm
you
glad
screwed
your
up
coin
with
dealer isn't
30
mine.
grand.
yeah. Yep. I was just testing you to see what you would say.
Yeah. In
And that happens more often than you guys think. I mean, it truly does.
almost every post on Facebook,
Mhm. They do
it-
want a certain answer. That's why they post it
People
to
shop
10
for
different
answers.
Facebook groups.
Absolutely.
They will post the same coin to 10 different Facebook groups, just like Eric was saying earlier about that 22 no D. They'll post to 50 different Facebook groups, until one knucklehead tells them that it's a great coin. And, but
My thought is I
sometimes
always wait for somebody to say, I'll give you $85 for it. And then I think to myself,
and that's what they're fishing for. A lot of times they're fishing for a buyer.
Yep.
Paul, I had one that she had to eventually block because they
Many.
Well, you know the one that I'm talking about.
The one with the 43.
Yeah, mildly hostile.
Oh, extremely hostile.
And
So he actually threatened to like sue us and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So when people ask a
spend
question,
way too much time on Facebook in their bunny slippers.
Way too much time.
If you're obtuse like that, then you can expect that you'll be removed from that. But if you genuinely want to know,
what
again, I have used obtuse to mean being an ass, and I was questioned, where did you learn that? Because obtuse is simply an angle.
Mm-hmm.
It is
greater than 45 degrees or 90 degrees, whatever.
Greater than 90. But I still use it because I don't care what the people, what the person thinks. But I thought obtuse also meant, being an ass about something.
Daniel's with Coin Help You, Crafty Dragon, not Coin Up.
Yeah, Coin Op is totally different. Totally different.
What?
Huh?
All right, Chuck. It actually
not totally
is
different.
In the Webster's dictionary that obtuse is also a word for lacking sharpness and being insensitive.
Yep, being dull-witted.
Due to bad intellect. So it's close enough to being.
More than it sounds really good, so you should keep using it.
Yeah, it does sound good.
Right. Yeah, like bifurcated plane.
Bifurcated plane. Ay.
Well, if someone's acute,
and you know what that made me the most mad about that guy was that he obviously knew how to research, because not very many people know about those experimental planchets in 1943. Not a lot of people know about that. And so he obviously knew how to research. I
guess I'm kind of lost.
It's an old story.
This guy came along. He's got a 1943, obviously copper-plated steel set, right? And it's in a slab. It was holdered by a Canadian grading company, and right on the slab it says copper-plated steel set. But he's convinced that it was the only struck experimental planchet on a copper-plated steel set, because that was one of the planchets that they experimented with, copper-plated steel in 1943, along with a multitude of other things. But he found, I think it was Mike Byer's site, and Mike has a set of the 4 or 5 of the planchets, the experimental planchets. And so he found that, and on that site, it talks about the copper-plated steel planchet. They were never struck, but he has the only struck one, apparently. So he thinks.
Oh, okay.
And so he obviously researched this for a long time, and this has been, like, I think it's going on 3 years now that he will pop up in Facebook, post that thing, and claim that it's like it's a one of a kind, blah, blah, blah.
There's another person who spends way too much time on social media in his underwear.
He's a coin level hypochondriac.
Yes, Eric. But we're not talking about Eric right now.
Right.
No, Eric wears his man pajamas.
Right.
His mankini?
Yeah.
No, that would be Joe.
I don't do mankinis anymore.
That would be Joe. Joe has
Joe McMahon bun.
Yeah.
But it's better to say in my fat pants.
Hey, Paula.
Yes.
And there's his icon. His emoji.
There it is. There's Joe McMahon bun. He's actually going to be shaving that off. Probably already has.
He might have already done it. Yeah.
I hope he shaves his head bald.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
just want him to get rid of it.
There's-
It's just wrong.
There's
And you
Joe
guys, if you have
Mancini.
not seen Joe without that fur, you're going to be so shocked. He looks so different.
Yeah,
like,
he's going to look
so
50
different.
years younger.
But anyway, yeah, so that's the story about that. And he's just, I don't know if he really is convinced that it is what he thinks it is or what, but he refuses to send it in to an American grading company, even Annex. He refuses to send it. He just wants to argue, and he's like that. Oh gosh, that Ed Robodon or whatever, whatever, that he pops up every like 6 months to a year on Facebook. The guy with the 11 cent. He's.
Yes.
Oh, that guy is just a nutcase. Robodon, Ed Robo, whatever, I don't know, but he's got a Lincoln cent struck on a dime, and even though it's not as uncommon as it was when he first found it, now he pops up and he will post his coin in the comments of no matter what, like you could have an off center and he'll post his coin and say, well, it's not as good as my coin.
Right.
He's just a wacko.
So there's a question in chat. So Crafty asks, how many mint errors or varieties are truly one-offs?
There's most minting errors are one-offs.
Yeah.
You get die errors that are like die clashes that repeat. Those are not varieties because they didn't happen when the die was first created, so that you can have the same die that struck normal coins, a million normal coins. That's an exaggeration, but it might not be. A million normal coins, and then all of a sudden it was clashed, and then every coin after that it struck. It has the clash, but that clash changes too. It can also be abraded away. So it's
like a die cap. How many strikes does a cap die? It could get 1 or it could get 100, right?
It can, but it changes. That
Sure.
every time that cap die strikes a plant, it thins out and it changes, and
How many licks to the center of a charm blow pop?
That's basically
a 1, a 2, a 3, a 3.
Have a great day, Farm Dog. Enjoy your
Farm
day.
Dog.
Definitely showing age right
A
there.
3.
A 3.
Yeah.
They still use that
saw those commercials. That was in the early 70s, you know.
Yeah, that's a 50-year-old commercial.
It is, and it still works.
For us, it does. For 20-year-old kids, they have no clue what we're talking about.
It just brings me right back.
Do kids even eat Tootsie Rolls and Tootsie Pops anymore?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm not
They
weird.
do.
I'm just old.
I do.
I'm weird.
Right.
But yeah, I hope that answered your
claim that.
question. Back to your question. I hope that answered. Varieties will repeat, and errors are typically one-offs.
Thank you, Paula. That was one of the first times I've ever heard someone else talk that I didn't want to jump in and correct them.
Thank you.
That's a hell of a
Appreciate
compliment there.
That. It is.
The wise old owl. Hey, I don't think Paula appreciates you calling her that, but
I'll accept it. I'll accept that.
Even
you
the
can call
old
me
part?
that. Owen.
I said even the old part?
Yeah, I
Wow,
will.
good for you.
I'm not young. I mean, I'm young at
Well,
heart.
you know,
Coach,
a lot
what's a
of
Tootsie
females, not to be gender specific, but
But
don't
I'm
like
on
old age.
I have reached the plateau, and I'm on a steady downhill.
I disagree.
But it's okay.
I wear old age with a badge of honor.
I do too. I'm okay with that.
But a lot of females don't. They don't like it.
I don't care. If I had $1 million,
I've been married for a while, and I'm going to continue to be married. So it doesn't
that's
really
what
matter.
we're talking
Right.
about, Coach.
Like-
right there. That's a Tootsie
that?
Pop.
Tootsie Pop.
That
My
is a Tootsie Pop.
grandson's having a rough time.
Remember Tootsie Pop drops?
Yes, I
Yep.
liked those too. Yes, I liked those too. You didn't have to fight with the stick.
Indeed.
Telling you, we're old.
Yeah, but how many people choked on them?
I probably choked.
Well, you only choke on them for a certain period of time, and then they melt.
Then they melt. Hopefully,
That's
they melt
true.
before you quit breathing.
Or you quit breathing.
Well, hopefully they melt before you stop breathing. Don't
Right.
choke on them when they're first new. You won't have that much time.
Perception is reality, and reality is perception.
And I have also adopted a new way of thinking that I never really thought about before. I've said it a few times before on our stream, like about small die chips and die cracks and stuff. And I've said, I don't. The way I always said it was they don't have any value because I don't think the mint considers them out of tolerance, right? But here's something that I read the other day that made perfect sense to me, because it is a die stage, right? They do have, it's a die stage. So if the mint knows this is going on, and they know these die chips and die cracks are happening, and they're like, whatever, it's within tolerance. So to me, that means that they're not truly errors, because an error really is something that should not escape the mint, should not have left the mint. It's outside of what the mint considers normal.
I would guess that the way it works is there's somebody walking around and there's a hopper, and the guy pulls a bunch of coins out of the hopper and kind of looks at them, and he doesn't see it. So he throws it back in and goes, it's all right. Or he looks at it and he says, yeah, there's slag or debris or something. We need to clean the die.
Well, and they do periodic die maintenance, and they see, I'm sure they see tiny little chips, little cracks, things like that.
Right. And they go, oh, we can get 50,000 more coins, because I do know that they strive to get 1 million coins out of a penny die.
And we use them as die variety people. We use them more as die markers.
Right.
What were you saying, Chuck?
All it would take for a lot of these people is to watch a modern coin press in action.
Yeah,
because it's not like they're sitting there tooling every single coin. I mean, these things, you got 60 coins a second going through this.
Yeah, they're just spraying stuff
out. Happen.
So, and dies are expensive. So they do let things. They let things go by, and they consider it just a normal part of a die's life.
That's why they call things within tolerance.
When it becomes a legit error is not when they discover it. It's just when it would be outside of what they consider normal and acceptable.
Yeah, I changed my thinking on that kind of stuff. I used to not even really pay attention to it except for markers. And now there's a lot of people that collect die cracks.
They do, and they collect die chips.
You want to do? Collect away.
Gene Cohen wrote an entire book about, BIEs and filled nines, and the little die chips and the nines and the fives, and she wrote an entire book on that and cataloged them.
If that interests you, that means you're looking in depth.
Exactly, and I don't discourage people from collecting them or finding them or being excited about it. I think it's cool. I have just changed my way of thinking, and I no longer consider small die chips and die cracks minting errors. They're just part of a normal die's life. But
I do got to say that I like big, huge die cracks. I actually save a couple of them now.
If they're big, that's a different story. And if they actually become like big die breaks, but we see on like the 55s, for example, you see a lot of the retained interior die breaks.
I would love that one on the 55S Lincoln Cent. There's one that the whole top of the head's gone.
Now that is actually a broken die I think the one you're talking about was from a cud.
It doesn't go to the rim. It's only in the head.
The piece broke off the die, though. Sure. The piece broke off the die and was struck into, and it damaged the die. I think that's the one you're talking about. It looks like a big cap on his head.
It looks like his whole head's gone. Yeah, Chuck has found a couple of those.
Yeah.
55S?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found one in a roll I was digging through one time. Somebody bought it.
And I think that's the one that is and it's actually a damaged die. I think it was they've realized, because they found out that it was actually the cud, the piece that broke off the die, that actually fell back into the striking chamber and damaged that die.
Well, in most situations, the way I look at it is, to me, it doesn't matter if it's a tolerance thing or if it's a true, what somebody would define as an error, because there's error, there's minor error, there's a lot of different little definitions that people can use to justify one thing or another. My whole thing is value is based in this particular case on rarity.
Yes.
And if you've got something like die cracks that happen very frequently and they make 200,000 coins with a particular die crack before they retire the die, there's 200,000 of them out there. It's not going to be rare.
Right. And I think most people understand that. I think that, they see a tiny little die chip and they understand that it's not going to make them a ton of money. I'm just talking about the way I classify it now has changed. But
was it a 2023 Lincoln Cent that had the big die crack? No, not that one.
The shield cent, the one that went across the shield. Is that the one you're referencing?
Yeah, the big crack that became massive. A lot of people want to get it in every stage. So they want to get it from the beginning and see the progression.
I have 3 of the 4 stages.
Yeah.
And actually there's more than 3 or 4, but
I saw Frostbyte
major
put a
stages
V in his face, so I thought he was going to bring up the V over VDB thing.
I was going to talk about the extra V. Yeah, that's another one that people think they're great.
No, please don't talk about that.
Oh, that's going to trigger Paula.
Is that finally starting to fall out of favor?
No, and it should.
People are wasting their money.
I haven't given it one moment's thought. I'm just waiting for it to go away.
Oh my gosh. My problem, Chuck, is that people are spending so much money on those stupid things. I really want them to get to the bottom of it. Somebody needs to find that die or
There's
dies.
Actually 4 or 5 of them now. Yeah.
Yes. And figure out, really, I'm sure it's going to come back that it's some type of damage, whether it happened with the dial feeders and it's post-minting damage, or whether it happened to the hub between the master die and the working hub. I don't know, but
it wouldn't move. You wouldn't think if it was on the hub.
No, it shouldn't, right?
No.
It moved. Yeah.
It moves and it changes orientation too. So sometimes they're sideways, sometimes they're upside down, sometimes they're in the shape of a V. So
which is why a lot of people think that it could possibly be the dial feeder. That there's something going on, that it's not actually. I don't know. Look, can we change the subject?
Sure.
Because I hate that thing. I hate it. I hate that people are wasting so much money on it. But
the next coin that we're going to talk about is the Cheeky 5.
Oh my!
Yeah, the Richmond
Paula's like, Frosty, I'm going to kick you in the butt.
The 5 on the cheek.
Yeah.
The 5 on the cheek.
Because it dropped from the plate that was there.
Oh, you're talking about the Richmond dime. You're talking about the Richmond dime.
The Richmond dime is a different one.
Yeah. The Richmond dime is different than the 66 SMS. The hubbed in debris on the 66 SMS.
Yeah.
We're talking about a dime. That's why I don't understand.
I know. Don't just keep doing what you're doing. Don't go.
You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
You'll be like, huh?
Well, you might want to know, because the 66 SMS go for pretty good money. So if you can find a 5 on the cheek on the 66 SMS, sell it now.
Yeah.
We got 2 rolls.
Yoxnav, that's a good find, bud. Yoxnav just found a V75W in the wild.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. That's a good find.
That's a good find. That's a fun one. They need to do that again. If they don't do something like that in 2026 for the semi-quincentennial, they have missed the boat.
So, Paula, speaking of missing the boat, why did the Mint decide not to do the privy marks?
It was voted on. It just
Well,
the
just on
it was
just
just
on
it,
the little denominations, isn't it?
yeah, on the cent and the nickel, they decided to just do the dual
It's
date.
High Life.
It was just voted on, and what for whatever reason, I don't know.
I'm sure it's High Life because they want to get 1 million strikes.
No, they actually said that it wouldn't affect the strike in any way, no matter where they put the privy, it would affect the strike. I don't know how that. I don't
I mean,
understand
the
that
way they
because
did the nickel and the penny, it was just like there wasn't a lot of thought or money put into it. It's just like add another date. It's easy.
and that's the thing, Eric, is that when they first came out and all the legislation passed and everything, they are able, they have the go ahead to totally redesign it like they're doing with the other
Don't they have
denominations.
to redesign the whole coin the next year? And
I
they're trying to
think
pass
that they did
legislation
it.
to get rid of them?
I really think that they did it because it costs them more money to strike the nickel and the cent as it is.
That's what I'm
And
saying. That's why it was a simple upgrade. Just add another
Yep.
date.
A simple upgrade.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, it's unfortunate, and that is where they could really do something. They could strike 1 million of each with that privy and put that into circulation, and
Yep.
let's do another great American coin hunt,
Yeah.
and let people find those 1 million cents or the 1 million nickels
Yeah. Or
with the
striking at West
privies.
Point. Striking
Huh?
somewhere
Yeah,
else.
just like
Yeah.
the West Point. And
Striking
all
at
they'd
San
have to do is
Francisco.
make 2 dies of each. They actually could probably get by with just 1 die, but
Yeah.
let's do 2 just to make sure if something happens with the one, they have an extra. But that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And we know everything's.
We need to do
Anyway.
something that's really going to engage people, or we're going to lose this
They
hobby.
do, and they have an opportunity with the
Yeah.
semi-quincentennial to do that. And
That's
they're
what
Well, they
just
made presidential dollars.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
going to say, look how much money they put into American innovation dollars.
I was about to
Right.
say that, Eric. I was about to say that. There's a couple of them that are nice, but as a whole,
It's useless.
yeah,
What they were
they're-
made for is never even took off. I mean, they made it to when people went to the post office. That was their big thing. Is everything's gonna be done in dollar coins.
and that's all you
And
get
the
when you
vending
get change out of
machine.
those machines.
And the vending machines.
Yeah, and
Dear
it just
U.S.
never
Mint,
took off.
dear U.S. Mint, quit being stupid and get rid
Right.
of the dollar bill. You otherwise will never get a dollar coin to circulate.
That's right.
Yeah,
If
it's
you're going
Right.
to do a dollar coin, like a genuine dollar coin, if they did something like they did with the Ikes,
Well, look at Canada. Their dollar coins aren't much different than quarters.
right.
yeah,
They just took the paper dollars away.
Right.
Same with the
Yeah.
$2 bills. They take them away.
You want to spend $1? Here's a coin. Shut up.
That's right.
Right. Right.
yeah.
I don't know. You almost think that they're doing something for the collector, and then they turn around and they just get stupid.
Or they say
Um,
we can strike 200,000 of these and charge $90 a piece. For
And,
it.
and the yes,
Yeah.
the cost. They're like, okay, we're going to do something
And we'll call it
special
a
for you
medal.
collectors, but we're going to charge you.
But the decisions that they made, I'm really the semi-quincentennial.
Yeah.
They botched that.
Well,
I'm
they
sorry.
did. Now they're making 5 gold coins, with 5.
Gold.
They're calling
but
it the
there's a lot of
best
people
of
that
the
can't
U.S.
afford
Mint, or
that.
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
best
say,
of the
let's go out
U.S.
and buy
Mint, or
10
something
apiece.
like that. Huh?
I said, let's go out and buy 10 apiece.
Well, and that's the thing, right? They're doing 5 of the classic coin designs, and they're going to be beautiful, and most people aren't going to be able to afford them. Why are they doing that?
Yeah, it's
Why
a
don't they-
dumb decision.
Yeah,
Like the one
it's
is a Mercury dime. Make a Mercury dime. There you go.
yes.
The only coins that I've seen lately that really interest me is I like the Greatest Generation coins. Those are nice. I wish that they would have changed one of the coins from being the gold dollar, the gold coin that they did,
Yeah.
to making that, because they made the metal And the metal's going to be nice, but I wish they would have made that. The other thing that gets me, and you and I have talked about this, Paula.
Well,
we've
they
mentioned
couldn't.
this.
They had to make 7 Harriet Tubman coins.
Don't go there. That frustrates the hell out of
That
me.
was supposed to be on a $20 bill anyway.
Yeah, well, they did the coins instead.
But
7
the
of
thing
them.
that the thing that
7
really
of
gets
them,
me,
Thing, I guess.
7
Yes.
of them.
they had a really good opportunity with the Liberty Britannia to really make a good impression. The Britannia coin it had King Charles on the back of it, but it was a new image of the bust. It was nicer, much better than the first ones that they did, which, I mean, it was all ear and a little bit of noggin.
What was the business strike for the U.S. Mint for that coin go for?
Say that again?
I don't remember.
I ended up buying 2 English business strike Britannias from the Royal Mint.
Yeah.
It was $72 to my door.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
bought the
ship.
proof. I bought the proof, and let me tell you something. The U.S. Mint can learn a lot from that. They shipped that. They may have even shipped it the same day I ordered it. I don't know.
And the thing is I could have bought them and had them put them in their vault
Mm-hmm.
for what silver was spot that day.
Yep.
So you can actually buy silver bullion and have it put in their vault for what the spot is on that during that day, which is crazy.
I did end up buying one of the U.S. ones. I guess they're not coming out until May or something, but I did end up getting one just because I'm a completionist, and I thought, okay, well, I've got the one from the Royal Mint.
Right, but you probably paid double. For
I paid
that.
way too much. Way
Yeah,
too
I'm
much.
just saying.
I'm not happy with it. I probably will, as other things I have bought from the U.S. Mint, love it for a minute and then sell it. Because I just, I don't know why even, but I do love it. The design is beautiful. The one I got from the Royal Mint's beautiful. I do not like I would rather have King Charles, and that's saying a lot. I'd rather have King Charles on the obverse than
Then
what
that's
we are putting on the obverse.
Stupid
Right.
sun in the trees,
Oh,
which
it's
doesn't
killing
make
me.
any sense of how the hell it represents liberty. If you want to look at the rising sun, that's more Japan than it is the U.S. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know. It's
So
supposed to be both sides of the pond. I don't know, but it's just not. And then they've got that
Japan and Britain.
weird looking sun that I can't.
Is your
I
hair
wonder if
gone,
that has
Joe?
anything to do with Build Back Better.
Hey Joe, did you shave?
Oh, is Joe here?
Yes.
Got to do it. Got to do it.
He
Come on,
already did
everybody.
it. Look at he put 5 of them in the chat.
Come on, y'all. Got to do it.
Oh, Joe.
Go throw Joe Keeney.
Joe Keeney. Put in your little garden gnomes.
Oh, I can't remember when I did that on Ida's stream.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny. How much did you get the Proof Britannia for?
from the US Mint?
No, from the Royal Mint.
From I think it was like God, I want to say 80 something dollars shipped. Yeah, I don't.
And that's international shipping.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably
And it
$30.
literally took
to ship it.
4 days to get my stuff from
Well, and Adam got his in like the same 3-4 days.
And he got
Mine
number
got
4.
He got number 4 on his. Yeah, 94. Okay, it was 94.
94.
Yeah, he
Oh.
got number 4 on his whatever.
His proof, his certificate.
Thank you.
number.
Yeah, the certificate.
Yeah.
They're all serial numbered. He got number 4, but
That's crazy. That one of the first 10.
but mine got stuck in LA in customs. So mine took about a week longer because it was in customs for
That's
whatever.
still not bad.
No, not compared to the US Mint.
Yeah, you buy something from the U.S. Mint, it's 6 weeks.
Well,
4
but you
months.
look at the difference
That's
too.
if
There's
you're
only
lucky.
10,000 of them for the British one,
Yeah.
and there's 75,000 on the U.S. side.
Yeah.
So the British coin is going to be way more collectible than the 75,000 that we have.
Well, Invisible River Ranch, that depends on the coin shop. My coin shop here, he understands the premiums on things, so he doesn't just give silver melt value on stuff.
And a lot of coin shops are like that.
Yeah.
They know
And-
the things that are like 1 in 100, 1 in 250 and stuff like that.
Yeah. And the Great Britain one is also a coin. Ours is a metal, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, there was, did you guys, I don't know if you guys happened to watch this, but on Silver Pros, that's Yankee Stacking and Silver Dragons, they actually
Don't
had
watch it.
They actually had the representative of the Royal Mint, and he was talking about the fact that Brits don't collect silver because there's a 20% tax on it. So if you buy it, they're the tax on. So you don't see a lot of silver stackers and things
why
of that
they
nature.
offer vault services.
Yep.
If the mint holds it, there's no tax on it.
Yep, exactly.
Roxzilla.
Yep. And so what happens is they do more gold collection, but that's why you can find when we buy them from there, we can get better prices than they can get them for, because they have a 20% tax if they're gonna
even the Canadian mint, the prices are not terrible, and the subject matter. I mean, I hate to say this, but people would rather have a Mighty Mouse $1 coin than an American Innovation coin.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a Godzilla $1. You know, people like that content.
Mhm.
The stuff that the U.S. Mint is putting out is, number one, it's divisive within the country. A lot of the stuff they're putting
Yeah. Exactly. Very politically motivated.
Yes. Whereas most of the other mints just are like, hey, everybody wants a Love Boat token.
Right? They're like, you like Bart Simpson? Here you go.
There you go. Here's a Bart Simpson token. And they sell right out.
Yeah.
You know, that was like me. I don't know who I was talking to, but I was like, so they said they need to bring back silver coins for trade, you know, to circulate. I says, that's right. They should make a Silver Eagle should be a $50 coin. Put $50 on the back, put it into circulation, $50.
Your references need work, Eric. You're very dated.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Mighty Mouse debuted in 1942 and Godzilla debuted in 1954.
Well, right.
I think he made a Love Boat reference too.
I made a Love Boat reference too.
Right.
Yeah,
my
76.
Like anyone under 40 ever watched Love Boat.
The Love
Boat.
We'll be making another run. Yeah.
Has more collectability than what they're putting out.
Everybody needs a Captain Steubing coin.
There you go. That would be great.
The plane.
1 in 200.
That's the
And then it
next
would be
show in order.
cross-platform collectible.
That one came on the hour after.
Fantasy Island.
Fantasy
Yes,
Island.
it did.
Yep, that's exactly. It was right back to
Fantasy
that.
Island, like Happy Days in Laverne and Shirley.
That's right.
Mino,
That
Shimano.
would be
Yep.
a great 1 ounce silver bar is one that says the plane on the back of it.
The plane.
That's a woodworker's coin.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, there's just so
They
much.
might as well write bifurcated on it.
My point is there's just so much content out there that they could be utilizing and make much more desirable stuff to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Well,
can remember when they came out with the Buffalo rounds and they just went boom, they were gone.
the problem is if you ever watch a CCAC meeting, I don't think there's a whole lot of collectors on that board.
No.
Um,
Politicians, I'm sure.
they need the U.S. Mint needs to put together a separate board of just collectors that is somewhere in the chain of
Yep.
voting on what is going to be our next coin or whatever. People that are really, and I'm not talking about 80-year-old, sorry, Chuck, collectors. I'm talking about the people who are in touch with.
You're older than me, sweet cheeks.
I know, stop it. Shh, not by much, like a day or something, a month. Anyway,
Oh Lord, here we
I
go.
think it's a year. I don't know, but anyway,
August 1st,
it's
1968.
people that a year. See, I'm the 9th, 67. Anyway, we're both Leos. That's why we love each other so much. They need a board of collectors who are young enough to be like in touch with really what's going on, and what people want. And I'm going to talk to Ventress Gibson, and if she's in Tulsa. Yeah.
She wasn't at the fun show this year. She was at the fun show 2 years ago.
Yeah, she was in Colorado Springs, I think. I think she was at the money show. Because Adam talked to her. He said she was really sweet. But I don't care how sweet she is. We're gonna have words.
Me with the $25 super chat. Thanks,
well, I'm not going to punch her in the tit or anything. I'm just going to talk to her.
Well, come on. If you do that, make sure you film it.
So Chuck,
would be good content.
You were talking about his outdated stuff. Me just dropped a $25 super chat to say to help out with your dated streaming channel.
Donation to the geriatric.
Thanks, me. I appreciate you, bud. That's awesome.
It's for Eric to go buy a package of soft cookies because you know you can't chew on anything hard.
Oh my goodness!
Lord, I'm not that much older than you. Just remember that.
Yeah, you're almost 3 years older than me, I think.
That's right.
Oh, you're that old?
I am.
He's older than me.
I'm older than about everybody.
Frosty is.
Tickets, right? Me. I know.
I'm the young buck in this group.
It would be good content.
I saw that Frostbyte. Man, I just got.
I will refrain from doing that.
I am going to need a heads up when those coin cards come out.
I will refrain from doing that, Eric. Okay.
I'm going to have to get those. I'm going to have to figure out how to handle that legally first.
Why?
Because I don't want, when I release something like that and it goes banana nuts, that PCGS or somebody else suddenly just steals the idea and overtakes the market.
Oh, yeah.
A good call.
Well, you've already released coin cards before, though.
I did, but they were my business cards. That's a little bit different.
Well, I have a whole set of them in an album.
Yeah, the new ones look like trading cards.
Yeah, these do look like business cards, but
they are business cards. That was the purpose. That was a whole.
But I like them. But you know what? Listen, what the grading companies really need to do is they need to get on board with including a little picture of the variety on their slab. That's what they need to do, because they can put pictures of all kinds of things on their slabs. Why can't they put a picture of like an RPM on the slab?
They could.
Well, basically, what they do to make money or to continue making money is they reinvent the wheel. And one place where they need to probably think about reinventing the wheel is to start grading varieties by stage.
Yeah, right. That's not going to happen.
Well, it might, because it would be a heck of a moneymaker for them when people are
sending
their varieties back in, because PCGS now has a price guide that includes varieties by stage, and you got your 63D double die obverse with the 3 and the 3, and you've got the earlier die state ones where the bottom of the 3 extends below, and then the later die state ones where it doesn't because it wore off. And the ones that extend below are worth quite a bit more money because they're a lot rarer.
Well, Chuck, NGC already kind of does that, because if a variety is like well, it's not really a variety. I'm gonna rephrase that, because they call them varieties, the Bugs Bunny, but they're really not. But
because I'm here, right?
Right. A lot of times, no, because like you were one of my first teachers. That's where I learned most of my stuff. But anyway.
Man.
But anyway, I know I'm screwed.
Makes him sound old.
Anyway, if you send in a Bugs Bunny and it's there because you know it's there, but it is mostly abraded away, they will not give you the designation. And that's a fact. It's happened to Adam a few times.
I've seen that occur on a number of different things.
That's the problem. You can't. We can barely get them to accurately attribute many varieties. So
half the problem is the people that are attributing the coins aren't very good at attributing the coins.
Exactly. That's going to be the problem. Now you're going to try to teach them the different die stages.
They don't use
yeah.
markers. They're only identifying by attributes.
Yep.
If you can't see the attribute, they're not gonna call it. That
Yep.
was just like an argument that I got in with another numismatist one time
You're
about
gonna go crazy with die
it-
stages.
it was about an 1873 Indians sent double die. And I said, well, here it is, because, the markers are there, but it was so worn that you couldn't see Liberty at all. And that's where most of the doubling is on it. And so he said, well, if I can't see the doubling, it's just not there. I said, no, that's not true.
It doesn't change the die.
Yeah, it doesn't change the fact that it's the right die. He says, well, no, it doesn't. But, once all that's gone, there's no point in even bothering. I said, well, you would be one of millions of people who are after something like this, and we have to listen to everyone, not just you.
Right. And that's the kind of almost exactly what NGC told Adam. They said, well, if we can't really see it good, no collector's going to want it, so we're not going to put it on the slab.
And that's the mentality. I mean, that's common numismatics for you right there. Just common. The die variety collector thinks completely differently than your generalist.
And that's why, unless you have a die variety collector grading those coins, you're going to have a hard time finding people who even care about die stage.
Our die variety identifier for NGC used to be really, really good at it, but he's no longer with us. So they're having to kind of drop back and punt, figure out what to do. Because Dave was one of the better guys with die varieties. David Lang.
Oh yeah. Well, we're slowly losing them. We lost Miles too young. We're slowly losing them.
The hard part is that I can remember celebrating his 50th birthday with him.
Wow.
And it's
that
like
picture that you logged on with, that was probably about the right age, right? No, David Lang wasn't that old. Was he?
He wasn't really old, but yeah, he was almost 70 when he died.
I think he was 60. 70s. You got to remember, when you're 60, 68 isn't all that old.
Right. But what I'm saying is that I celebrated his 50th birthday with him. And it's like, you're impervious at 50. I mean, you have aches and pains and stuff, but you don't think you're going to die tomorrow.
Right.
So Ashes, I would really suggest buying a book as opposed to a website. I think that Rick Snow has a website for Indian Head Sense, but I don't think it's.
His book that he sells,
is
actually linked to where you can actually get a
use
digital
the site.
copy.
Oh, you can get a digital copy. Okay.
Yeah. So you can actually pull it up, and the site is actually really nice. Eric and I were looking at it. Oops, I
haven't been on it in a while because I just have books. So, but
that was weird.
Another dated reference.
And Copper Coins is good. There's a lot of good sites. The problem is there's just not enough time in the day to update the sites.
That is a fact.
Well, at Copper Coins, when it was initially invented, it was done so that we could focus on all copper from the United States. And I was going to be the Lincoln cent guy, and there were other people who were going to take the other denominations. And I had one who was going to take large cents, and that we were going to try to talk Rick Snow into taking the Indian cents. And it just never panned out, and all the other guys just kind of drifted off. And I stayed with it. That's why Copper Coins is a Lincoln cent site with references to other things, but all the references
really your references and things, your little menu at the top, that needs to be updated.
Yes, very, very heavily. Yeah. But instead of updating my old rusted out 57 Chevy, I'm going to buy a brand new one. So
are you?
Yeah, one of these days it'll happen.
And just so you know, we're getting almost 40,000 images on there now. Getting close.
It's over 40,000, isn't it?
Nope, it's like 38,700.
A lot of the newer books have QR codes to scan on pages from our. So the new Red Book, Coach's Magic, the new Red Book actually has some of the coins in the new Red Book have a QR code that you can scan. They will that will take you to like piece like a grading thing. Picture images of different coins in that coin in different grades, so you can kind of grade your coin. For that exact reason that I talked about earlier, well, people with the red book automatically go on the price guide to the very far right. You need to be able to grade your coin, to price your coin, at least somewhat accurately.
Listen, okay? Listen. I'm not saying nothing. I don't need to.
Thank you. But anyway, that was a great idea for them to include that in the red book. I'm not sure if it takes you like to PCGS's grading or what, but I'm hoping that they have true like ANA grading standards and not like dealer grading. But what do they call that? Inflation, gradeflation.
Yeah, gradeflation.
I'm
Not
hoping that
another
they have true like ANA grading standards. Like,
Well, ANAX uses ANA grading standards, don't they?
I believe so. CACG is using them. They have gone back to the old grading standards. They don't care what the dealers say. They don't care that they're hurting their feelings or their pocketbooks. They are in it for the collector.
I just hope they got the stones to stay the course, because like I've
I
said
think
before,
they do.
these are the people that started all the other grading services, and we see where we're at.
Yeah. Albanese and Drewutsky.
Yeah. So,
but we'll see.
That's right.
The minute you see them putting out fancy labels or vault boxes,
yeah, I'm not a hater.
we know we're screwed.
Yeah, I'm not a hater.
I'm not a hater either. I just ignore everyone.
I don't ever send coins in to be graded, so really I don't care. But and I never, if you guys know, I may recommend every once in a while like a super great error for someone to send it in, but very, very rarely do I ever tell people to send their coins in, and I don't think most coins are worth it. I think they are absolutely.
There is definitely reasons to send stuff in, but man, you got to be picky about it.
Yeah,
I just have total issues with people sending $10, $20, $15 coins in.
well, that's like earlier. Anxious said, "I have found a modern day proof quarter. Should I send it in for grading?" Like, no.
Why?
No.
If you have to ask, the answer is no. First of all, if you have to ask if you should grade your coin, the answer is no, because you don't know enough to know whether that coin is worth sending in to be graded. You have to know how to at least somewhat grade your own coins.
If you found a proof coin in circulation, chances are there's a million of them that aren't in circulation that are in better condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy the entire set.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
just
buy
not
an
worth
entire
doing that
set
kind of
for
stuff.
cheaper than sending it off.
There are exceptions to that rule.
There are
Go into a bag of wheat pennies and find a 1909 proof.
There are exceptions.
Yeah. And that's part of the issue, is that like with English, there are always exceptions to every rule.
There are exceptions, but even in that case, Chuck, they have to be able to at least have some idea what a map proof looks like and what some of the markers are and stuff.
I totally agree with you.
Otherwise, they're going to be sending in every 09 that they find. And
if you find a pretty coin you think might be proof, get someone else's opinion first.
Yes, exactly.
If you know that you found a proof, send it in for grading.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you don't know, if you have a question, you got to drop your pride first and realize that you could be wrong.
Me's got jokes. Hey, Eric, did you see Me's comment?
About?
He says he found some more half cents for you. He's going to send you.
What kind?
Foreign.
The half cent kind.
Yeah.
Is he talking about halfpennies? British?
The last one he sent me was Canadian halfpennies.
Those aren't very common.
No, they're pretty cool too. I got them here somewhere. Man, my office is a mess again. I need time off.
Again?
Yeah.
Like it
Eric,
was
you
ever
and I-
clean? Is that what you're
I've got a couple
referencing?
boxes of rolls in that the
You and I
only way
sit in
to
the
sort them
same
was to
swaller,
put them on the
buddy.
floor.
How long are you staying on for,
Who?
Frostbyte? Well, hello.
I- I'm
Wake
going to be
up.
getting off here in a couple minutes because Coin Crew will be
Okay.
doing their thing in about 15.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get off then, you guys. I'm gonna get off of here, you guys. Let me
All
clarify.
right. You have a great
Thank you
day.
for clarification. There you go.
Thank you. I need to clarify. Okay, everybody have a great day.
See you later,
Bye.
Paula. Thanks for coming
Bye.
up. Yeah, I'm glad she corrected that because she was leaving saying I'm going to get off. And that was, no. Let's clarify a little bit. We got kids in the house.
I must be getting old.
No,
We all are.
no.
I don't
Better
even
than the
catch the
alternative.
indecent references anymore, and I used to make them all the time.
You were focused.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's all
always-
good.
Just so you know.
I'm getting my Tuesday auction ready. Trying to step ahead of things.
Hey, me, if they're 1775, keep one for me. Okay. If you have more than one, keep one for me. Because I'm trying to,
75 what?
1775 British halfpenny. That's an awesome one.
yeah.
Oh,
The reason that I say that is that I have the 72, 73. I want the 74 and the 75. Because those were the coins that were utilized in the early portions of our country. And a
Yep.
lot of those coins were the ones that were basically re-stamped to make our own half cents. So there's a lot of history behind those, and I like the history piece of it. They don't even have to be in good shape. I just want to try and have one of those. 50 likes, Frosty. Yeah, I know. I already put the winner in earlier because we were sitting at 46. So
what's the rarest coin you've ever held in your hand?
talking to me or to Eric?
Yes. Whomever.
So being so new at this, the rarity scale, it's not really, I don't really have any great stories about rarities. The most expensive coin I had was 1873 seeded $50 that was in AU condition. That's
Nice.
That's the nicest coin I have.
I have a
Yeah.
feeling I know where Chuck's going with this.
But
Oh, you do?
rarities, I don't have.
think
I don't
so.
have anything that's that cool.
It's not that I have anything. I've been all around the country holding coins that belong to all different kinds of people. But specifically, there were two different shows that I went to, national shows, where the owner of a particular coin would bring me a coin to photograph. And there is a coin out there of which there are only two known to exist.
Aha, I knew it.
And I've held both of them at two different shows.
That's
$10
crazy.
Mormon
One
gold.
2 years ago, but never got to hold it.
So
Yeah,
now
$10. It was a
Here's-
$10 Mormon gold.
here's something else. Okay, just being in the presence of company of one of your friends, you've
Mhm.
got to hold some amazing stuff.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, and these are people. So again, I'm so new to this hobby. I actually want to talk to him and see if he'd come up on the show one time and show off some of the goodies he has.
Who's this?
Brian, I
Brian.
think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about one of my friends, and I'm thinking about which one.
Right.
Well,
I
but
was gonna
that's the
say,
thing,
We
so-
had another one that it was
Because
crazy.
I've also held, I think, one of two or one of three 1909 SVDB Lincolns and PCGS 67 Red Plus.
Yep. That was scary. I was very uncomfortable.
Right. You're almost afraid you're going to pass out and crack the slab or something.
Yeah.
See, that's just, yeah, that's just insane. So I don't have any stories like that. I've seen some cool stuff,
Didn't,
but it's through a despite case.
Didn't you
Um,
hold the 58D double die?
Both of them.
Both of them. That's
Yeah,
right.
it's the one he's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it at the fun show a couple years ago. One of them.
Yeah, that's the one I held.
Yeah, they weren't.
That's
they
the one
weren't
I've actually photographed.
Yeah.
available for holding.
That was Stuart
mean,
Blaze.
I don't really have anything crazy cool. No, don't get me wrong. I have some nice coins, but when you're talking rarities and stuff like that,
Yeah, me neither.
I
Frostbyte.
haven't been fortunate enough to do that. Now, I know people like you and Eric and some of the other folks that have been able to do that. And I would like to eventually get people on here who can show those things, but I haven't had the opportunity to. I would like to. I'll tell you what though, when you guys were at Brian's and you guys were around showing coins and drinking beer and having a good time and showing, I felt nervous at that stream.
Which time?
Yeah.
I was just like,
Well, Brian's like, here, pick this up, pick this box up, and I said, you pick that box.
that's $1
up."
million box.
Yeah.
There's more than my house in this box.
It's like, holy crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't, yeah, I can't compete with the fun stories, and I got good jokes and stories, but I can't compete with people who've done this for a while and had the opportunities that you guys have had. I don't have the fun stuff like that. Eventually I will.
You will.
One day in my journey I will, but it's going to be a long time.
I once held something that's right up your alley, Frostbyte. It was a MS-64 graded
1792 Hefdiem.
Oh, cool.
The only one I've ever seen.
So here's
only
the
one I
thing that
know
I
of.
like about that. You actually pronounced it right.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the way the denomination was initially supposed to be pronounced.
Yes, the Deem. Yeah, DEEM, not Disney.
Right. Well, no.
Yeah.
That's like saying Chevrolet.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean it's not?
Right. No.
Mardo, like that.
Mm. And that same instance was when I was photographing a pretty high class inventory of coins, and I had so many satin finish proof 1912 St. Gaudens double eagles in front of me that I lost which one was which and had to go back and compare the little dings on the coins to figure out which one was which. Because I photographed them in order and then they got out of order and I didn't know which coin was which. So I had to match up the slab numbers with the photos. And that sent me to a microscope to sit and figure out which coin was photographed at which point. But it was 5 or 6 of them, but they were 1912 proof St. Gaudens $20 gold pieces. Those just something you don't see very often.
No, now see, I've been to a couple places where they've had really nice coin shows and I've seen this stuff, but like you've got to actually have them and hold them and photograph them and interview the people, and that stuff
Right.
is just amazing, right? It's
The stories that you hear.
Yeah,
That's, like
it's
you said
crazy.
before, it's all in the stories.
Well, and you know this, Eric. I love the stories. What makes me interested in this hobby? I like the beautiful coins and I like having them and getting them, but I like the stories behind it, and because what a lot of people don't realize about our stories is if we don't share them, we lose them. When I tell the story, and we only have a couple of minutes before we send everybody to Coin Crew, but when I first started, I wanted to interview a gentleman, World War vet, old man, started talking about his coins, and he talked about getting some of the coins and where he had gotten some of this stuff, and the fact that his kids weren't interested in it. His kids weren't interested in his stories. They didn't care about the coins. They just, if you leave them to me, how much are they worth? And so he started just kind of talking about some of the things that he had experienced and where he had picked up some of these coins, and being in a house in France in World War II, and somebody gave him a bunch of gold francs as a thank you because he was able to prevent somebody from intruding in their family. And So it was like, it's an amazing story and it's really cool. And then he died like the next day. I never actually got to have him on the show and actually interview him. And how many stories did that guy have that will never be known?
Yep.
Right. And I'm like, oh my God, I would have loved to known the whole story instead of the sneak preview, you know? And I'm all about the story. That's why I like the interviews. That's why I like talking to people and having people up, because that's why I collect. That's why I enjoy this. I like finding out. Eric, you and I before the stream, we're talking about the horde videos that I'm doing and that kind of stuff. I love the story, the intrigue, the question. Tiger and I are working on something regarding a silver bar that has a really storied history. And so I like that. So I'm going to try and find more stories to continue those things. And Chuck, I'd love to have you up and tell some of your stories, because you are full. I was about to say you're full of it, but you're full of them. You're full of them. You have a
Throw
lot
me
of
a
cool
bone, buddy.
stories.
Throw me a bone.
No, but you have a lot of cool stories. You've met a lot of neat people. You've seen a lot of amazing coins. You're
I've
extremely
had stuff
storied
happen
and
to me that I
studied.
never thought would.
Yeah, but I mean, the things that people that are in the stream right now get from you. I mean, how many people in the stream have been able to talk or even know of somebody who's held both the 58 double dice?
Right.
Up until
Yeah.
this point, I knew because Eric and I had talked about it in the past. I think you and I had talked about it in the past. But how many other people knew that you were one of the few people who's held both of them? Right.
Yeah.
I think that's cool as hell.
Oh, and the reports out there that there are 3 of them are untrue. One was regraded.
Oh, that's a lot of with grading. How many are actually, been regraded and they didn't
That's
take
an
them off the
entire
top?
show.
Yeah.
That is an entire show.
Yep.
Because I can tell you, there's nowhere near as many 69S double dies as the record shows.
Oh, well, no, and you can't trust the record anyway, because how many people have cracked them out and resent them in to
That's
try and
right.
get higher grades?
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, folks. Well, Coin Crew is going to be starting here in just a minute, and I'm going to be sending everybody over to there. Ray, if you'll do me a favor and throw that link back in there. Chuck and Eric, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and coming up. I'm glad to see you again, Chuck. It's good to see you back on the screen.
And
I usually don't get up and around the computer this early, but I turned the TV on and I went over to YouTube to watch yesterday's news, and there was Frostbyte live, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, thanks for coming up. I appreciate it. We'll definitely have to have you up. I want to open those images that you sent me, the drawings.
Okay.
And I would like to have a stream where we open those and you just talk about stories behind them.
Well, talk to me anytime.
Okay. I think we'll set something that up, because I've been waiting to open it because I got your message where you said that you had added a little bit of history to it. But I think I want to open that up and do that, because for those of you who don't know, he's quite an accomplished artist. And
now the letter that you had asked for is behind the mailing label. You know that, right?
I haven't touched it yet. I was going to do all that together. So
yeah, I believe it's behind the mailing label. I think that's where I put it. I meant to send you a note about it, but I guess I didn't. But we can discover together. Once you show it to me, I'll remember where it is.
Sounds good. All right, folks.
I'm gonna take off.
All right.
Yep.
We'll see you next weekend. I'll see you at 1 o'clock maybe. I got to stream around 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks,
All right,
Eric. Thanks, Chuck.
All right.
I appreciate you.
All right.
Have a good
Bye.
day. All right, ladies and gents. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to head on over to Coin Cruise and go check out their auction. They've got some good stuff over there today. So go over, show them your support, yell up a Frosty raid. And again, thank you for coming in. These are the kind of great things that I enjoy. Next Sunday, we will be talking about the military currency. That's something that somebody wanted to know about. So I'll bring some information in that. You guys have my email address. If there's a topic or something you want to know about, hit me up and let me know, and we will include it on my Sunday streams. All right, all. Be well, be blessed.